They told me this house would feel peaceful while they were away. "Just a week," Dad said. "You'll be fine." But the moment the door shut and their car disappeared down the street, the silence felt wrong, too heavy. I tried to convince myself that being left behind didn't bother me. I tried to believe that I wasn't hurt. But the first night proved I wasn't alone. Footsteps echoed above my room, slow and deliberate. A whisper brushed against my ear, soft but chilling. "Why did they leave you?" My heart froze. This house was hiding something, and now it noticed me. They left me with a fake smile and a promise to bring souvenirs, like that would make me feel included. The truth was obvious. They didn't want me there. My stepmom made sure of it. She held my dad's hand, her lips curved into that satisfied smile, and her daughter waved from the car window like she had just won something. Then they were gone. For the first time in years, the house felt massive, and I felt smaller than ever. I tried distracting myself, TV, music, anything to drown out the loneliness. But the quiet kept crawling back, seeping into every corner. By the second night, the sounds began. At first, just a soft thud from upstairs, like something fell. Then, footsteps, slow, heavy, purposeful. I called out, pretending to be brave, but my voice shook. No answer, only breathing, not mine. That was the moment I realized someone else was here with me. I never asked for a perfect family. I just wanted to feel like I belonged. But with every passing day, my stepmom made sure I understood the truth. I wasn't part of her picture. When she married my dad, she didn't just move into our house, she pushed me out of my own life. Her daughter Bella always came first. The vacations, the gifts, even the tiny moments like who sat next to Dad at dinner. I was invisible. When Dad announced the trip, a family vacation, I felt a spark of hope. Maybe this time he remembered I was here too. But stepmom crushed that hope with a single sentence. "There isn't enough room?" Dad looked guilty but didn't protest. He just squeezed my shoulder and said I'd be safer at home, as if being alone here had ever made me feel safe. They packed their suitcases with excitement, laughter filling the rooms like I didn't even exist. Bella smirked at me as she rolled her suitcase out, whispering, "Finally, we get rid of you." Then they drove away. Just like that. I stood in the doorway long after the car disappeared, trying not to cry. I wanted to believe I was strong enough to handle this. I told myself a week of peace might even be nice. No voices telling me I was a burden, no eyes judging me. I could breathe, I could think, I could finally relax. But the silence. It wasn't peaceful. It was cold and heavy, like the house itself was holding its breath. I spent the first day wandering room to room, trying to fill the emptiness with noise, music, TV, videos. Nothing helped. At night, I lay awake, listening to the stillness pressing against my ears. Somewhere deep inside, a fear I refused to acknowledge began to grow. Being alone wasn't the scary part. Realizing I wasn't alone, that was. The second night was when everything changed. I was curled up on the couch watching random videos, anything to keep my thoughts busy, when I heard it. A loud thump upstairs. Not a creak, not the wind. Something solid hitting the floor. I froze, waiting. Then, footsteps, slow, one after another. The kind of steps someone makes when they're trying not to be heard. I muted the TV. I held my breath. The footsteps stopped. The silence grew louder. I tried convincing myself it was pipes or the house settling. But houses don't whisper, and I swear I heard a whisper. My name, or something close to it. I grabbed the nearest object, a flashlight, and crept toward the stairs. Each step felt like I was walking into a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. The hallway upstairs was dark, even though I knew I left the lights on earlier. The switch didn't work. The power was fine, just that area of the house. I called out, "Dad!" A foolish reflex. I knew he wasn't here. But part of me hoped the universe would give me a miracle. No reply, just breathing, shallow, shaky. And then I realized the breathing wasn't mine. The noise came from the attic door. A faint scratching, like nails dragging slowly across wood. I stood there, heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. The attic door, which had been locked my entire life, gave a soft creak. It was opening. I ran downstairs, slammed my door shut, and turned the lock even though it felt useless. I stayed up the entire night, staring at shadows moving across the walls. I prayed the morning would make everything feel normal again. But the footsteps returned. Every night, at the same time, walking, watching, waiting. And I started to wonder, was something trapped up there? Or had someone been living here all along? The next day, I searched for answers. I needed proof I wasn't losing my mind. In the storage closet, I found a dusty old photo album, one I'd never seen before. Yellowed pages, torn edges, pictures of my dad smiling with a baby. Not me. A younger child with eyes like mine. A name written under one photo, then violently scratched out. Every page after that was ripped out, gone. Why would Dad hide this? My hands trembled as I flipped through the remaining pictures, until a loose paper slipped out. It was a missing poster, the same child, my brother, a brother I never knew existed. I confronted Dad over the phone, but he avoided every question. His voice shook like he was terrified of something. Or someone. Stepmom grabbed the phone and snapped, "Don't go into the attic," and stay out of things that don't concern you. Then she hung up. That was the moment I realized she wasn't just cruel, she was hiding something big. That night I woke to the attic door slowly creaking again. The scratching grew louder. I turned on my flashlight and forced myself toward the stairs, fear and curiosity wrapped tightly around me. Halfway up, the attic door swung wide open. Cold air rushed down like the house was exhaling. A small figure stood in the darkness, the outline of a young boy, head tilted, eyes glowing faintly in the beam of my light. He didn't walk, he floated a few inches off the ground. My voice died in my throat. He whispered one word, "Brother." I stumbled backward, fear blinding me. But the boy didn't follow. He just pointed toward the attic, toward the hidden truth buried above us. When I gathered enough courage to look again, he was gone, leaving only the attic wide open, waiting for me to climb inside and uncover the truth my dad was too scared to face. The truth my stepmom desperately wanted erased. I spent the entire next day pacing, terrified but determined. If that spirit claimed to be my brother, then the attic held the answers. As night fell, I climbed the stairs again, flashlight shaking in my hand. The attic smell was old and rotting, like something abandoned for decades. Boxes lined the walls, but one stood out, newer, sealed shut with layers of duct tape. I ripped it open. Inside were documents, legal papers, birth certificates, and a diary. The handwriting was shaky, childlike. I read the pages with growing horror. My stepmom wasn't always who she claimed to be. She convinced my dad my brother was dangerous. She had him taken away, supposedly for treatment, but he never returned home. The last diary entry was a scribble of fear. She wants to get rid of me, like she wants to get rid of him. Tears blurred the pages. He was me, I was next. The temperature dropped, my breath turned to mist. The boy, my brother, appeared again, standing inches away. Not angry, sad, lost. He showed me images, not with words, but memories. My stepmom pushing him, locking him inside the attic. Him screaming for Dad, Dad holding his ears, manipulated by lies. Then, silence. My knees buckled. He wasn't taken away. He died here, alone, forgotten. I whispered, "I'm sorry." He gently touched my hand. The room flickered, lights bursting alive, and the attic shook violently. My brother's voice echoed one final message. "She's coming home early." Then he disappeared. I ran downstairs, adrenaline pounding through me. I checked the time. Dad and stepmom should have still been days away, But a car pulled up. Headlights flashed through the window. They were back. And my brother's presence wasn't going to let her walk in like nothing happened. Justice was coming, and I was no longer alone. The front door creaked open before I could react. My stepmom stepped inside first, her fake smile gone. Dad trailed behind her, confused, tired, afraid. The house felt different, colder, like it was holding its breath, anticipating what came next. Stepmom's eyes scanned the room rapidly. "What did you do?" she snapped. She noticed the attic door still wide open upstairs, her face drained of colour. Dad tried to speak, but she barked at him to stay silent. She marched up the stairs, fury shaking every step she took. I didn't follow. I didn't need to. I heard the attic slam shut. Then her scream, one I'd never heard before, full of raw terror. The lights flickered, then went out. The house plunged into darkness. "Dad!" I whispered, grabbing his arm. "He's not gone." "My brother. He's still here." Dad's eyes widened, filling with grief as the truth hit him like a punch to the chest. "She told me he ran away. I believed her," he whispered brokenly. Tears fell as he collapsed to his knees. Upstairs, objects crashed. Stepmom's panicked cries echoed through the walls. "Stay away!" It was an accident. He was nothing. My brother's voice echoed back, calm but powerful. Forgotten, like me. A cold wind rushed down the stairs, carrying a shadowy shape. My brother stood between us, not as a monster,